Picture this. You're standing right at the edge of a major decision.
Right.
And I'm not talking about the kind of decision where you can just, open up a spreadsheet.
Oh, sure. The ones you can't just logic your way out of.
Exactly. You can't just make a neat little pros and cons list and figure it out. I'm talking about the kind of choice that takes root in your body.
Long before your conscious mind even catches up to it.
Yes. You know the exact feeling. Your chest gets incredibly tight.
Your breath gets really shallow.
Yeah, and your stomach just hollows out. It's almost like you've suddenly missed a step while walking down the stairs in the dark.
It is a deeply, deeply visceral experience.
And you rationalize it instantly. I mean, we all do. We tell ourselves, oh, it's just nerves. Everyone feels a little jittery when they're about to make a big move.
Right, we immediately dismiss it.
But today, we're taking a really deep dive into why that feeling isn't just you being nervous. We want to do a sort of slow, raw exploration of our inner blocks.
I love that.
Yeah.
Because we really have actively trained ourselves to ignore our deepest bodily wisdom.
We have, and so we're going to unpack how we got so disconnected, and more importantly, how we can actually start listening again.
You know, we usually treat intuition as this almost mystical, ethereal sixth sense.
Like a superpower or something.
Right, like it just drops out of the sky as a magical premonition. But we look at this through the lens of Gestalt therapy.
Which is really about your present embodied experience, right?
Exactly. Gestalt focuses on the reality of the here and now. And through that lens, intuition isn't mystical at all. It is entirely somatic.
It's physical.
Yes.
Yeah.
It doesn't arrive as a booming voice in your head. It murmurs in the language of your skin, your breath, your gut.
I think we need to define Gestalt for a second, just to ground this. Because when people hear therapy, they often picture, lying on a couch talking about their childhood for 10 years.
That is a very fair distinction. Gestalt therapy is fundamentally about the whole.
The whole person.
Right. It operates on the premise that human beings can't be understood in fragmented parts. You aren't just a brain driving around a meat suit.
I love that. A brain in a meat suit.
It's true. Your mind, body, and emotions are one continuous system, and they are constantly interacting with your environment in the present moment.
So in this framework, intuition is, and it's essentially the accumulated intelligence of your entire lived experience.
That's exactly it. It is your nervous system, your memories, your raw instincts, all of it converging into a single, highly compressed physical signal right now.
Wow. So when your stomach drops, that isn't random.
No, not at all. That is thousands of micro-observations and past data points trying to get your attention all at once.
The contrast there is what really gets me, because our daily lives are just dominated by these loud, screaming headlines.
The deadlines, the emails.
The weight of external expectations, the endless stream of advice from literally everyone we know. We are just constantly up in our heads.
And meanwhile, the body's whisper is absolute quiet. The body doesn't argue with you. It doesn't try to persuade you with bullet points. It just is.
And that quietness makes it so incredibly easy to talk over.
It does. It's the first thing we mute.
Okay, let's unpack this with an analogy. It's like having a dashboard full of warning lights in your car, right?
Okay, I'm with you.
And your body is flashing this glaring red check engine light. But instead of pulling over to see what's wrong under the hood, we just slap a piece of black tape right over the light.
Oh, wow. Yeah, just block it out.
We do it because the dashboard of our conscious logic says, well, the car should be running fine. The map says we're on the right road.
We prioritize the map over the territory.
Exactly. Why do we do that? Why do we privilege the mind, which is really just a concept, a Mac over the body, which is the actual territory we're standing on?
Well, the truth is, we aren't born ignoring the territory. This is a learned survival mechanism.
So we're taught to do this.
Yes. And it starts much earlier than we realize. We learn to abandon ourselves in these tiny invisible increments.
Because when we're young, we need to fit in to survive.
Precisely. At a young age, connection to our caregivers and our society is literally more critical to our survival than our own inner truth.
Oh man, think about how early this starts. Imagine like an 8-year-old child at a family gathering.
A very common scenario.
Right, and they feel this strange, distinct unease around a certain adult. Their little nervous system is picking up on micro-expressions or tone or just a weird tension.
The alarm bells are quietly ringing.
But what does the child do? They force a smile anyway.
Because they've been repeatedly taught that they must never be rude.
Yeah, give your uncle a hug, don't be impolite.
Exactly. They are forced to override their own somatic signal. And then, that child becomes a high schooler.
Oh, high school is just a masterclass in overriding your gut.
It really is. They feel a literal knot in their throat. before agreeing to do something with a group of friends, something they
Ah.
know deep down they don't want to do.
But they swallow that knot completely just to fit in, to belong.
Right. They trade their truth for safety.
You know, this happens in entirely mundane ways too. I'll give you a slightly embarrassing example.
Please do.
So, a while ago, I was on a road trip, and I was running terribly late for a meeting. I stopped at a gas station and looked at this incredibly questionable hot dog on the roller grill.
Oh no. I already know where this is going.
My body literally recoiled. I mean, the smell hit my nose, my stomach tightened, my whole nervous system said, danger, do not eat that.
Your intuition was screaming.
But my logic stepped in. My brain said, you need calories, you have exactly 4 minutes, this is the most efficient choice.
And you ate it.
I ate it. And I spent the next 24 hours violently regretting it. I completely privileged my mental timeline over my body's explicit warning.
I mean, that is a perfect low-stakes illustration of a very high-stakes dynamic.
Right.
Your nervous system processed the visual and olfactory data of that hot dog and correctly predicted illness, but your logical mind overrode it for the sake of an artificial schedule.
An artificial schedule, wow.
Now scale that up to a life decision.
Oh yeah, let's talk about that.
You're an adult. You get a job offer that looks absolutely flawless on paper. The salary is incredible. The title gives you status.
Everyone's telling you you'd be crazy not to take it.
Right. But the exact second you go to sign the offer letter, every single cell in your body just goes completely silent and cold.
Just a total internal freeze.
Yes. And every one of those scenarios, the 8-year-old, the hot dog, the job, we are actively making a trade.
We're trading our own internal integrity for safety, or like efficiency,
Yeah.
or belonging.
We are seeking safety, yes. We bury our inner knowing under these heavy layers of shoulds and musts.
But hold on, let me play devil's advocate for a second, or at least push back on this, because I know what you, the listener, might be thinking right now.
Go for it.
Where is the line between gut wisdom and just avoiding hard things?
That's a really important question.
Because if I just followed every bodily impulse that felt uncomfortable or tight, I would literally never go to the dentist.
Right.
I'd never pay my taxes. I'd never sit down and have a difficult conversation with a partner. I mean, logic is necessary to function in society, isn't it?
Absolutely. And that is the crucial line to draw. Trusting your body is not about chaotic impulsivity.
Okay, good.
Gestalt therapy doesn't advocate for just avoiding all discomfort. Going to the dentist is uncomfortable, yes, but it is fundamentally an act of care.
Right, it's a chosen discomfort for a good reason.
Exactly. What we are warning against is logic that isolates you from your own wisdom. Rationality is a brilliant tool for navigating reality. But when you use rationality as a shield to avoid feeling reality, that's when your logic becomes a prison.
Oh, wow. So using logic to figure out how to pay your taxes is a tool.
Yes.
But using logic to convince yourself you are absolutely miserable in a toxic relationship, that's a shield?
Precisely. And ignoring your intuition in those profound moments creates a deep internal rupture.
A rupture, like you're breaking contact with yourself.
You are. You sever the connection. And that rupture echoes throughout your entire life. It leads to that really modern feeling of profound disconnection.
Yeah, that feeling where you're just sort of floating through life.
You feel detached from your work, your relationships, even your own joy. You're going through the motions, but you find yourself constantly seeking external validation.
Endless scrolling on your phone.
Obsessive planning. Just doing anything to try and fill the quiet void where your own inner voice used to live.
I want to dig into the physiology of that rupture.
Yeah.
Because what we're saying is, it isn't just a poetic metaphor.
No, it's highly physical.
Suppressing these feelings actually physically disrupts how human beings are built to move through the world. And I've been really fascinated by this concept in Gestalt called the cycle of experience.
Yes, the cycle of experience. This maps out the natural, healthy rhythm of how we exist.
Break that down for us.
It is a biological and emotional rhythm of a need arising and then being met. It starts with awareness. You notice a sensation. That sensation gathers energy and becomes mobilization. Mobilization then leads to an action, and action finally ends in satisfaction or completion.
Allowing the organism to just rest.
Exactly.
So, just to use a really basic physical example, so I have this straight. Awareness is feeling your throat is dry.
Right.
Mobilization is the urge to actually get up. Action is walking to the kitchen and drinking the water.
And satisfaction is the thirst being quenched. Your body returns to baseline.
Okay, so that's a complete cycle. But what happens when that cycle gets quietly cut short in our emotional lives?
Well, the thing is, it's almost never cut short by some dramatic external force. It's interrupted by our own internal avoidance.
Here's where it gets really interesting. Let's talk about how this looks on like a random Tuesday morning.
Okay, set the scene.
You're sitting at your desk, you read an email from a colleague that completely crosses a line. It's totally disrespectful.
Very common trigger.
The awareness happens immediately, right?
Yeah.
Your breath gets shallow, your chest tightens up.
Yes. And then the mobilization begins. Your body releases adrenaline, preparing you to set a boundary or defend yourself.
But then you just don't take the action.
You stop yourself.
You tell yourself, oh, it's not a big deal, I don't want to cause drama, and you just hit send on a polite, accommodating, smiley face reply.
You completely swallow the response. You stop your own energy from completing its natural path.
And we have to ask, where does that mobilized adrenaline go?
Where did the cortisol go? It doesn't just evaporate because your logical mind decided to be polite.
I always picture it like a stifled sneeze.
Oh, that's a great image.
Right. Imagine you feel a sneeze building up. You have the awareness, the gathering of air in your lungs, the sudden mobilization of all those muscles.
And then right at the climax, you clamp your nose and just completely stifle it.
You block the release. The energy didn't vanish. It gathered, but the physical action was thwarted.
And you are left with this lingering, highly uncomfortable trapped pressure inside your head and chest.
It feels awful, and that physical pressure is very real. Now imagine stifling 1,000 sneezes over a decade.
When these interrupted cycles pile up day after day, year after year, that trapped energy settles into the actual tissues of the body.
It physically manifests.
It becomes armor.
Ah,
These are internal walls we build.
yeah.
And the tragic part is, these walls aren't really keeping dangerous people out.
No.
They're keeping vital parts of yourself hidden, even from you.
The body literally holds on to these interrupted cycles. It holds the no that you never spoke out loud.
Yes.
And that unspoken no becomes a chronically clenched jaw. It becomes a sinking stomach every Sunday evening before work.
A hollow, numb space right in the center of your chest.
These aren't just random stress symptoms. They're entirely unfinished experiences.
In therapy, we refer to this dynamic as resistance to contact.
Resistance to contact, meaning contact with your own feelings.
Yes. It is a subconscious resistance to experiencing your own emerging reality. And what is so insidious about this resistance is how reasonable it looks from the outside.
What do you mean?
It rarely looks like rebellious defiance. It usually wears the mask of maturity.
Oh, wow.
It looks like compliance. It looks like being the bigger person or being a team player.
That is so true. It operates entirely under this unspoken tragic contract. If I stay small, I'll stay safe.
Exactly. And because that trapped energy is so inherently uncomfortable, it almost always leads to projection.
Okay, let's define projection just to be crystal clear, because people throw that word around a lot online.
They do. Projection is a defense mechanism where you take an uncomfortable feeling or an impulse that actually belongs to you, and you attribute it to someone else.
You externalize it.
Yes. Because owning the feeling yourself is simply too threatening to your sense of safety or your identity.
So instead of allowing yourself to feel the terrifying vulnerability of saying, I feel incredibly unsafe and unsupported right now.
You project it outward and say, my boss is completely unfair and out to get me.
Oh, that makes so much sense. Instead of feeling, I am deeply overwhelmed by my own life, you declare, the world is entirely too demanding.
You displace the feeling outward because facing the raw vulnerability of your own inner disturbance, admitting that your life isn't working, feels like it might destroy you.
But projection is so sneaky because it genuinely feels true in the moment. When you are convinced the world is out to get you, you aren't sitting there thinking, ah, yes, I am projecting.
No, you fully, entirely believe it.
So if projection is just our clever way of displacing the feeling so we don't have to deal with it, how do we actually catch ourselves?
It's tricky.
How do we bring that feeling back home without getting completely swallowed up by the fear of it?
The solution is profoundly simple, though not easy. Awareness dissolves projection.
Just awareness.
But I want to be very clear here.
Yeah.
It is not intellectual awareness. You don't sit there and endlessly analyze why you feel a certain way.
Like, why am I broken? Why is my mother like this? Why do I always do this?
Exactly. That is just more logic spinning. That's staying in the map. Instead, you drop your attention directly into the physical body. You notice the heat in your face, the tightness in your throat, the heaviness in your limbs, and you ask a very different kind of question. You ask, what is trying to emerge in this moment?
What is trying to emerge? Man, that changes the whole paradigm.
It does.
Because you start treating yourself as a problem to be solved. And you start treating yourself as a living organism that's just trying to communicate.
Yeah.
Maybe what's trying to emerge is just a profound need for rest, or a need for a boundary, or maybe just a need for permission to finally say, I have no idea what I'm doing.
Healing doesn't start with asking, what should I do to fix my life? It starts by asking, what am I experiencing right now in this exact moment?
Right now.
Truth doesn't live in your regrets about the past or your anxieties about the future. It lives in the breathing, physical reality of right now.
I love how this framework gives us a way to heal those past moments of self-abandonment too, because we all have them.
We carry so many of them.
We all have those memories of times we totally betrayed our own gut instinct, and we usually look back on them with a ton of shame.
But you can actually retroactively complete an interrupted cycle.
Really? How does that work?
You sit down and you think of that specific time you ignored your intuition. But instead of judging yourself, you just feel the physical texture of that memory in your body today.
You bring it into the present.
Exactly. And then you bring your current compassionate awareness to that younger version of yourself who just didn't know how to trust their gut.
And you just speak to them.
Yes, you internally say, I see you. You were doing the best you could to stay safe. I'm here now, and I'm listening.
It is an act of profound self-compassion.
You are completing the cycle of awareness and contact that was denied in the original moment.
It makes me think of, like, untangling a literal knot in a garden hose.
Oh, I like that.
The energy it stopped flowing years ago because of the kink in the hose, and you can't change the fact that the hose was tangled.
Right, the past happened.
Or that the garden went unwatered for a long time. But by bringing your physical presence to it now, and gently working that knot loose,
The water instantly begins to flow again.
the pressure releases. You completely change how the whole system operates in the present.
And when you release that pressure, you discover what truth actually feels like in the body.
What does it feel like?
In Gestalt, it is felt as congruence.
Congruence.
It is an internal alignment where your thoughts, your feelings, and your bodily sensations are all pointing in the exact same direction.
That sounds amazing.
It is, but what's really important to note is that congruence is emphatically not the feeling of absolute certainty.
Wait, really?
Really, certainty is a construct of the anxious mind trying to control the future. Congruence is a grounded state of the body in the present.
Okay, that distinction is huge, and it brings us to a really intimidating threshold.
It really does.
Because once you start unkinking the hose, clearing out that backlog of unfinished business, you arrive at a place where you actually have the capacity to follow your internal guidance. You start hearing the whispers clearly.
And that's where the real work begins.
And this is the part that I wrestled with the most. We are so often sold this toxic positivity idea that intuition is like a cozy blanket.
Oh, absolutely.
That if we just follow our gut, the universe will reward us, everything will neatly fall into place, and we will feel wonderful all the time.
Which is a fantasy.
But this exploration confronts us with a much harder reality. Intuition does not just point toward comfort. It relentlessly points toward transformation.
And true transformation always demands loss.
Always. It demands loss.
Yeah.
Following your truth might cost you very familiar roles you've played for decades.
It might cost you an identity you built your entire ego around.
It might even cost you relationships that only function smoothly because you are willing to remain half asleep, highly accommodating, and deeply compliant.
Following your somatic truth has a very real, tangible cost.
Yeah.
The people around you might not like it when you suddenly start completing your cycles of experience and actually setting boundaries. You might completely disrupt the systems you inhabit.
This realization totally unsettled me, but it also made everything click.
Yeah.
We live in a society that aggressively sells us certainty and data and predictability.
Oh, I guarantees.
We do. But choosing to actually listen to your body is a demand that we choose aliveness. And choosing aliveness means you might completely shatter the ground you are walking on.
You have to contrast the immediate scary cost of speaking your truth with the invisible slow drip cost of ignoring it.
The slow drip cost.
Yes. It is the terrifying prospect of waking up one day looking in the mirror and wondering, who is this person who knows so much about how the world works but feels absolutely nothing?
God, that's heavy. How do we navigate that fear? Because the fear of loss is so valid. When you stand at that edge, your mind is going to just scream at you to retreat to safety.
The anchor here is an ultimate reframing of how we ask questions internally.
Okay.
The next time you feel that quiet pull, that tightening in the chest, or that subtle recoil in the gut, You must intervene in your own internal dialogue.
What do you say?
Do not ask, is this safe?
Because safety is just the mind trying to maintain the status quo.
Exactly. Safety is the language of the frightened mind. Ask instead, does this feel true?
Does this feel true? Wow. That one shift completely changes the landscape of how we make choices.
It changes everything.
If we step back and look at this entire journey we've been on today, we've moved from recognizing how easily we slap black tape over our own warning lights to really understanding the physiological architecture of our self-abandonment.
We've covered a lot of ground.
We talked about how stifling our emotional sneezes builds walls, how to retroactively untangle the knots in our hose, and finally, what it means to stand at the threshold and choose aliveness over the illusion of safety.
It's a profound shift in how you live.
The most empowering takeaway for me is realizing that your silent guide, your nervous system, your accumulated wisdom, it never actually left you.
Never.
It has been there the entire time, just waiting in the quiet for you to remember how to listen to it.
I'd like to leave you with one final thought as we close.
You do?
If intuition is truly the accumulated intelligence of your entire lived experience, then we need to radically reframe our regrets.
Reframe them how?
Every single time you made the mistake of ignoring your gut in the past, every time you swallowed your voice, or ate the proverbial bad hot dog, or took the wrong job, or stayed in a room where you knew you didn't belong, you were actually gathering absolutely crucial data.
Oh, I love that.
Your history of self-abandonment is not a permanent flaw. It is not a waste of time. It is the exact contrast you needed to experience.
So it actually serves a purpose.
Yes. Because of those painful, heavy moments of disconnection, your intuition is now sharper, it is louder, and it will be undeniably clear the next time you find yourself standing at the edge of a decision.
You are standing at the edge right now. The chest tightness, the hollow stomach, it's not just nerves, it's you trying to finally make contact with yourself. Will you listen?